Hey guys and dolls, this is EATertainment with Deah, and I'm your host, Deah. Thank you again for subscribing to my show over on YouTube, where I teach you the fine art of cooking and entertaining at home. So let's go ahead and get started. Today's episode is going to be all about leftovers. So whether or not you have leftovers from yesterday or maybe a couple of days ago, or perhaps you're cleaning out that refrigerator, I'm going to show you what to do with a few items that you may already have. In today's show, we're going to be featuring a yummy balsamic chicken, collard greens, and mashed cauliflower. Mashed cauliflower, which you may or may not know, is a substitute for mashed potatoes. I'm still partial to mashed potatoes. I love them, especially with a lot of butter. But this is better for your system, makes you a little healthier, lower in calories, lower in fat, and obviously lower in carbohydrates. So we're going to take this dish and we're going to turn it into our day 2 dish, which is going to feature a balsamic chicken salad with some delicious fresh ripened fruit, and we're also going to make a homemade vinaigrette for you to pour over that yummy salad that we're going to make. And for the last third tip that I'm going to give you guys, because I love you so much, we're going to actually feature this delicious, I'm not going to eat it, we're also going to feature this beautiful table setting that I made with leftovers. As you can see, I'm using leftover Easter decorations to coincide with our theme of leftovers and also springtime. So let's get to it and let's hop along. So I'm cleaning out my refrigerator and this is what I find, believe it or not. So I have some balsamic glazed chicken, which is just a breast that I've cut up and put the balsamic glaze on top, heated that up in the oven. I have braised collard greens. I haven't cooked them for very long because I want to keep all of the nutrients in there for what I'm about to do for the second dish. And then lastly, I have our delicious, yummy, smooth mashed cauliflower. If you haven't tasted mashed cauliflower, it's very similar to mashed potatoes. It's of course a lot lighter and a lot healthier for you. So if you're like me, I hate leftovers. My mom hates leftovers. I didn't grow up eating a lot of leftovers just because she always tried to find ways to switch it up on me and make it exciting. So that's what I'm going to show you guys, and that's a tip that I'm giving you once again with EATertainment with Deah. So the first thing we're going to do for our day 2 is going to be to make our salad. So we're still keeping it healthy. So I'm just going to move it over here so I can show you what I have. It's just spinach, and then I have strawberries, gorgonzola cheese, and purple or red sliced onions. Blueberries. And then to make our dressing, we will be using lime juice, fresh lime juice, honey, apple cider vinegar, and also canola oil for our dressing. And here's another tip. I know I mentioned you'd be using honey. If you spray the inside of your ramekin or whatever dish you're going to be using with a little bit of oil, it will slide out easier and you won't have as hard of a time to get that to come out. Sometimes honey can be a little resistant. So that's my tip, another tip for you. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be to take our leftover collard greens that I have left over just in my pot, and I'm going to show you how I turned that into a creamy, delicious soup. So I know you may be wondering, what the heck is collard soup? Well, it's something I made up. You may have heard of different other kinds of soups, so like spinach soup or kale soup. This is my own recipe, and it's pretty similar to those. So if you're looking for, again, to lighten it up and to completely switch your menu around with the exact same ingredients and not go out to the store and buy something else, then this is going to be for you. So let's go ahead and make our collard soup. The very first thing I'm going to do is take my leftover collard greens, again, that I've braised. I have a little bit of pancetta in here. Pancetta is Italian ham, and I just sauteed all of that. I'm going to add it to my blender. I know some people call the juice that's left over with the greens, they call it pot liquor. It's a lot of goodness in there, folks. You don't know what you're missing if you have not tried pot liquor. Yummy. So I've removed it from the blender. I'm just gonna take this over here now. And to make it even creamier, I'm gonna use my sieve. It's also known as a strainer. And I'm just gonna put it directly on top of my pot and then pour my soup into it. The reason why I'm doing this is that I want my soup to be extra creamy and not have any lumps in it. And this is gonna be a way for me to ensure that that happens. If you want a smoother soup or a soup that's a little bit more, doesn't have as much body as mine does, add a little bit more liquid. So that could be the juice from the collard greens or whatever greens that you'd like to cook. You could use kale, you could use spinach. So you could use the juice from that. You could also use chicken stock or beef stock if you don't have an aversion towards using any of those, just to make it even creamier. So this is our second course of the day 2 leftovers that we have. Again, just reminding you, all we did was puree the collard greens, and I went ahead and added some leftovers from the juice of the collard greens, and then also I added about 3 tablespoons of olive oil as well. After I passed that through my sieve, this is what it looks like. I'm just adding a little bit of salt and a little bit of pancetta that I told you about here. So we're just gonna add that to our soup for some flavor. And that's our finished product for the soup. The next thing we're gonna do is show you how to make that salad that's also gonna go with our soup. I have a bowl of fresh spinach, and to that I'm going to add my red onions, gorgonzola cheese, and also strawberries. If you're not partial or if you're not very fond of gorgonzola, you can very easily switch this out with any cheese. I love cheese, so I like to play around with different cheeses and kind of see what it tastes like with different things. And I happen to love gorgonzola with spinach and fruit. I think it's really good. So I hope you try this. After I've added my gorgonzola and my delicious sliced ripened strawberries, there are a little bit more onions on there because who doesn't love a good tasty onion? The next thing I'm going to add are the blueberries. Blueberries are very high in antioxidants, and I'm going to get that on there. After I've added in my blueberries, the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to make that dressing. So to make the dressing, it's actually going to be a honey lime vinaigrette dressing. You can also use this as a marinade for meats. I've used it for that before, and I've also used it for making a dressing here. I'm using canola oil. Canola oil is very light, and it's not as heavy as a lot of other oils. And I'm gonna put 3 tablespoons of canola oil. You can use more if you like. It depends on how many you're serving. Actually, let's go ahead and put 4 of canola oil in here, because that's a pretty large salad I have. Next is my honey. And remember, I've added a little bit of oil to the sides of this ramekin so that my honey would slip out rather good. So it's coming out easily, as you can see, and it'll be easy to clean up later. And I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of honey, more or less to taste. After you finish this, you taste it, see what you like, what you don't like, and you can adjust it. The next thing I'm gonna add is fresh squeezed lime juice. The lime juice is our acidic quality that we're needing for dressing. So if you'll notice with dressings, there's always something that's acidic in there, and that's because the people who manufacture foods know that in order to have something that's really good on your tongue and on your palate, you need to be able to please all of the senses, but you also have to, it's all about balance. So salty, sweet, acidic, savory. And I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of fresh lime juice. And then the last thing I have is my apple cider vinegar. And to that, I'm going to add 2. Next, because we did it in a mason jar, you can put the lid on. Make sure it's on good and tight because you don't want anything spilling over onto your new fit from Apricot Lane. Shake it up a bit. Shake, 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 shake. Looks pretty good. Let's give that a whiff. Okay. Now I'm going to taste it just a little bit. So I have my spoon over here. And I'm going to actually pour it into it since we're going to be serving this to other people. Not bad. Now to finish up our salad, don't forget we had that leftover chicken that we didn't want to eat the same way again. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just if you're looking to switch it up, then it shows for you. So I'm just going to add my balsamic glazed chicken. And I don't know if you are aware or not, but to make a balsamic glaze, it's super simple. You just take balsamic vinegar, heat it on the stove for 15 to 20 minutes until it starts to thicken. At that point, you have your glaze. Just make sure you watch it and you stir it continuously. So now that we have our salad just the way we want it, we can add a little bit of our dressing to finish it off, and it's ready to serve. We've already shaken it. A little bit goes a long way. Sometimes you got to get in there with your hands. So, just going to turn this around a bit. And there you have it. You can either do it in a large bowl and then serve it, or you can do it individually. But my salad is finished. I'm just gonna do it give it one more toss so you guys can see all of my mixed fruit and my berries and my cheese in there. I want you to see all of that goodness. And that's it for the salad. So let's move on to our table settings. This is going to be a great idea for after Easter because after all, Easter bunnies are not just for Easter. You still have bunnies after Easter, right? So suppose you're doing a baby shower or a birthday party for kids or toddlers and you're looking for a cute festive idea, you may want to pay attention to this next quick, easy, and simple table decorating ideas. The first thing I did was I took baby food jars. I know a lot of times with the baby showers, you may play those games where you take the food and you try to guess what's inside of it. You could buy those up, so pour the food out, and then reserve the jars if you don't already have those already. And they're really inexpensive, about 40 to 50 cents a jar. And after that, I painted it using my acrylic paints. Make sure you look at it, and it's the multi-surface. Again, it's acrylic paint. I'm using a pale blue, and then I just purchased some really inexpensive sponge brushes so I could paint my lines on here. And what I did was I took tape and I marked it off at the very top, and then I painted everything that was below the tape so I could have a perfect line if you want it to be straight. Obviously you don't have to do this, but I thought it would add to the element of my yellow flowers here. I let that dry for a couple of hours, and then I put a second coat of paint on, and then afterwards I'm left with this. Very easy, inexpensive idea that you can do for baby showers and also for birthday parties for the kiddos. The last thing I did was I went to the store and I grabbed daisies. Daisies are always on sale, you guys. I got a bouquet of daisies, huge bouquet, for less than $5. Cut the stems all the way to the very top. And I stuck it in here with just a little bit of baby's breath, which is also an inexpensive item or a filler that you can use. So that's one leftover tip for you. Our last leftover tip for the episode that you're viewing today is going to be the featured Peeps and the bunny rabbits that are made by Peeps. I just took those, which are just marshmallows, and I stuck them in the bottom of a vase or a vase, whichever, and I filled some daisies in there, and then I also topped it off with our fresh baby's breath. So this again is an easy, inexpensive idea that you can run to the store. You can buy those up. They're marshmallows, so they're very hard to go stale. Plus, if you're just using them for centerpieces and decorations, it really doesn't matter what the quality is. You just want it to look good. So thanks for joining me on another episode of EATertainment with Deah. I hope you enjoyed the leftover segment. If you have any tips or comments or any suggestions on something you'd like to see in future seasons, please drop me a comment below. And as usual, thank you for watching. Hey you guys, it's spring and I am feeling good. I'm looking good. I have on my fly outfit from Apricot Lane. Thanks so much for all of the spectacular accessories that they sent over to me. So if you like what I'm wearing today, and if you want to find something close to it or maybe a little bit similar, check out Apricot Lane. And also thanks to my magnificent makeup artist, Miss Melissa Jean Charles. Thank you for that. And of course, I couldn't have pulled this all together without the lovely stylist help of Alexis Coates. Thanks so much, ladies. I appreciate your help.